Well, Bob Dylan, the day has come where all over the country they're trying to pass city ordinances. You have to have an inspection before you can have a garden because you might try to grow drugs or the food you grow might hurt somebody, even though it's big agra, in every case causing the big problems. And where the Amish are now being SWAT teamed on a weekly basis. So, Bob Dylan, you can see a day coming when having your own garden will be against the law. And we got time zone somehow, or she did scramble, doesn't matter. I'll have her back up soon. We only got 2 mini segments with investment advisor, Solari.com, entrepreneur, president of the Hamilton Securities Group, government officials, this is Secretary of Housing, federal government commissioner, Bush 1, investment banker, managing director, and member of the board of the Wall Street firm Dillon Read & Co. Doesn't get any more elite than that. Managed portfolio of more than $300 billion in financial assets, liabilities. Catherine Austin Fitz for this segment, the next, and Alan Watts joining us. We'll have you back next week if you can do it. I know you're traveling for a full 30 minutes or an hour. But, Catherine, they tell us, oh, maybe the recession's ongoing when we're really in a depression. Wall Street's making record profits. The mega banks are. But suddenly they're saying, oh, maybe the recovery never happened. Where is the economy right now? Now they're saying, I guess, QE3 is coming. Where are we right now?
Alex, the economy is slugging its way through what I call a slow burn. And the slow burn is a process whereby the insiders steadily drain off subsidy from the outsiders. And, of course, now we're not just eating through the fat, we're eating through the muscle, and it's very painful. And it's a structural change. What you're doing is we've rebalanced the economy so that manufacturing and a lot of agriculture is much more a global trade. And that's having a devastating impact to the middle class in the United States and Europe, because what we've done is we've sort of taken the retirement savings of the baby boomers and shifted it out of investment here and into investment in the emerging markets and space. And as a result, a lot of people are waking up now, and both their financial situation and their political situation has changed radically. Everybody remembers Ross Perot warning us. Well, it's finally coming true, and that's what's happening. You're watching a very major structural long-term adjustment of the baby boomers aging and the money having been pulled out and gone, and now you
worked on the inside, though. You, break it down. I mean, this is strategic. This is planned.
Yes. Oh, this is absolutely planned. This is, it's very interesting. In the 90s, early 90s, we knew that this was all happening with change in the global rules, whether it was the NAFTA agreements or the Uruguay round of GATT. And so we knew that the jobs were going to leave America. And the frightening thing about it was that, we knew what we needed to do. We needed to help build new skills, and we needed people to pay down their debt. And instead, we had a debt bubble. We did the opposite, and that was a way of pulling vast amounts of money out of the economy, and literally everybody financially partied, not realizing that there was going to be hell to pay at the end. And so what we did was, I called it the fraudulent inducement of America. Rather than encouraging people to save and pay down their debt and learn new skills so that they could be more competitive in a global economy, we encouraged them to build and buy bigger houses and take on more debt and, sort of misbehave. So,
and why shouldn't they? Because the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and others that control the big private banks, they make it all out of nothing and then get the world. They want us dependent. And so that's why they launch these credit cards into, college students with no jobs, mailboxes to get them into debt, all part of a plan. We're going to come back in 1 minute for a final 5 minutes with our guest to look at where she sees the economy going from here as Moody's warns of the U.S. All right, Catherine Austin Fitz, big news just breaking at drudgereport.com. We're getting it up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com right now, but we're going to integrate it in with the Standard & Poor's. Just 2 months ago said the U.S. is in danger of losing its AAA rating, meaning instead of, owing $14 trillion, it would go up exponentially to the bankers, to the insiders. Now Moody's warns risk of U.S. losing its credit rating. I mean, it looks like the big implosion is getting close. What do you see?
Well, I'm skeptical of a big implosion. I think we have a political explosion about to happen, Alex, which is if you look at the Fed budget, there's a competition between interest on the debt the military, and retirees. And I think part of what you're watching is a political move to set the retirees to get their benefits cut. And that this is really a political explosion more than an economic implosion. So I'm skeptical because if you look at the fundamental economics, there doesn't, the U.S. credit rating doesn't have to, as an economic matter, get worse. And so I'm not saying they're not running it in a highly irresponsible or financially irresponsible way, but I think what you're watching is a political move underway.
Expand on that.
Okay, so if you look at the federal budget, we're running very significant deficits. And for many, many years, the baby boomers, my generation, has been net energy plus. We put our money in Social Security, and that money is used to finance the deficit. Well, now that we've started to retire, of course, it's turning net negative. And so if you're the Congress or the Senate, your big question is, well, am I going to continue to pay the interest on the debt? Well, yes, I want to do that because I want to continue to float the debt. Or do I want to pay the military? Well, yes, I do, because they're running around the world making sure the Chinese buy more treasuries. Or do I want to pay the retirees who are now net cash flow negative to the budget? And so that's the politically weak group. And if you look at the national debt, we have tremendous amounts of contingent liabilities for Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. So there's a political squeeze coming where now that you shift off the retirees' money, you're going to cut their benefits. And so I think what you're watching is the positioning of all the parties in the financial ecosystem to start to say, oh, well, the responsible thing to do is to cut Social Security and cut Medicare and Medicaid and to cut the sort of social safety net. And that's part of this move. So I think...
Yeah, they're getting ready for the austerity, but then the taxes will still go up because they've now gotten us in this third world position where everything goes to the private bankers who got all this through fraud.
Well, if you want to ask where the money is, I mean, the first thing I would ask is not sort of looking at the federal deficit today. We know that there are trillions of dollars that went missing in the federal government, and there are trillions of dollars that disappeared on the bailout. And so my attitude, I think of this as like a milk bucket that's got a hole in the bottom where money is disappearing into all these places mysteriously, and people keep telling me there's no milk in the milk bucket, and I have to put more in. Well, my attitude is, first of all, I want to know where all the money disappeared to. Then I want to stop the hole, because I don't want to put more milk in a bucket that's got a hole in the bottom.
But now we know, thanks to some of the lawsuits by AP and Bloomberg, that almost all of it went to offshore classic Rothschild banks and things like that. So, I mean, we've just been completely swamped.
If you look at this amount of money, Alex, it's much too much money to just make the Rothschilds rich. In other words, you're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars. That is a fundamental difference in how the whole planet is being run.
Yeah, they're sucking the blood out to rewrite the planet. Incredible. Do you agree with that statement?
Right. They're re-engineering governance on planet Earth. It's that big. And that's the issue that's got to be dealt with before we decide who puts
I hear you. A great job.
Right.
Solari.com. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.